I did. Nothing rattles markets, of course, more than the potential of terrorism. Treasury Secretary Jack Lew joined with the world's finance ministers yesterday to attack ISIS in the terror group's pocketbook. But Lew has been stymied by Congress this year in his anti-ISIS plans and expressed his displeasure about that on MSNBC's Morning Joe this morning. Listen.
Adam Szubin is an extraordinary public service. He's respected by Republicans and Democrats alike for being the expert who's designed so much of our sanctions efforts. And Congress has to get beyond politics and move a nominee who needs all the tools at his disposal to organize the U.S. and the global effort to fight terror.
Joining us now for their take on the Treasury Department's anti-terror effort is CNBC senior contributor Larry Kudlow and CNBC contributor Barney Frank. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for being with us on a Friday afternoon. Barney, let's start with you because it sounds great in theory to cut off the financing source for ISIS. The UN has said that this is the direction that the world needs to go, and it needs to get the Middle East on track with this. And, of course, we have the defense secretary in the Middle East saying exactly this. But how easy is this in practice to implement this on the ground?
Oh, it's very hard. In fact, one of the problems I have, frankly, with all analyses of policy, whether it's Republican or Democrat, Congress, or the president, nobody ever gets a degree of difficulty there. In fact, almost by definition, things that are going to be discussed widely are going to be difficult. I am troubled by this holdup of a nomination on two grounds. First, I'm very proud of the role that I was able to play when I became chairman of the Financial Services Committee, which in the House has jurisdiction over much of this, over the banking system, working with the Bush administration very closely. We put into place the sanctions that I think have been very helpful with regard to Iran. So I hate to see partisanship interfering with what has been a generally cooperative effort on sanctions. Secondly, and here again my criticism is bipartisan, both Republican and Democratic senators have wildly abused the rules and the confirmation process. You have this situation of holds, where a single senator can put a hold on a nomination to keep them coming up, not necessarily because he or she opposes the nominee, but because they have some other policy angle they're trying to push. They need to change the rules. A presidential nominee deserves to be voted on. If people think he or she's unfit, you vote them down. But this business of holding nominees hostage and not voting at all is unfair, and it is destabilizing to the policy.
Right. Larry, what would be the motivation? I mean, the president obviously and Secretary Lew are saying that the Republicans are, stonewalling here because Adam Szubin's nomination has been held up for 200 days to be undersecretary to combat terrorism, undersecretary of Treasury. What would be the motivation there other than just pure politics?
I don't know what the motivation is. I would agree with Barney Frank that the confirmation process needs some changing. Okay, overhaul. I agree with that. But look, Mr. Szubin has been in office. He's been the acting undersecretary. Right. So that's kind of a straw horse. The issue is, with respect to ISIS financing, why hasn't the United States unleashed our military to bomb all the oil trucks, all the oil supply trucks? Now, that may have changed very recently, but up to now, what we've heard is no bombing of the oil trucks because, A, the driver is a civilian. By the way, you can bet he's an ISIS civilian, and therefore it's collateral damage. And, B, bombing the oil trucks will release carbon emissions into the air and create global warming. So their biggest source of funding has been through oil, and we have not allowed our military to go after every single oil truck, every single supply truck on both sides of the border, by the way, including the Turkish side, and we should do that, okay? That will knock $1 billion right out from under ISIS funding.
Barney?
Well, I am in favor of bombing the oil trucks with one possible difference here. One of the things that's very important, I thought Jeb Bush, frankly, had his best day at the debate the other day when he talked about the importance of trying to build up relations with Sunni Arabs, because you do need a substantial ground force to fight these butchers, these extreme radical terrorists, and you're not going to have that if you're fighting with Sunni populations. So I think that taking action in Turkey, bombing in Turkey, without some permission there would be a problem. And then I have to go back again on the Syria issue. And I think one of the great unfairnesses has been this persistent criticism of President Obama because he said he would bomb Syria if they used gas and then didn't do it. And people leave out the fact that he asked Congress for permission to do it. Many of us feel that's very important in our democracy to have both legislative and executive authorization for the use of military force, and the Congress refused to do it. So here the president is being attacked for abiding by a policy that many of us thought was a good idea, which is that you engage and involve Congress in doing this. But specifically at this point, bombing Turkey without Turkish permission would seem to me to have some counterproductive elements.
I'm not saying bomb Turkey. I'm just saying if the oil trucks get over the border, we can go after them.
But you're bombing in Turkey, Larry.
I understand that. It's not usual.
You don't think it's bombing Turkey, but Turkey does.
But it's called hot pursuit. But we don't bomb the oil trucks on the Iraqi side or the Syrian side.
I agree with you on that.
I know you do. And
I agree on that. I just think, however, you may not think that bombing oil trucks in Turkey is bombing Turkey, but Turkey does.
All right, look.
The president in his Sunday night address did ask Congress for continued military force. Larry,
I agree with Barney on this very important point. Wow. There should have been a war resolution from the U.S. Congress. Absolutely. He is 100% right. And I don't know why the Republican Party has not gone down this route. All right? Big mistake. And I think Chairman Frank is 100% correct. I also believe, however, the Obama administration has been bereft. They've undercut their own credibility by not getting a war resolution from NATO, by not getting a war resolution on ISIS from the UN, and by not convening a conference, and here I think I agree with Barney again, all the Sunni Arab tribes, countries that are our allies, we should have called an emergency conference to get ready to invade Iraq and Syria, ISIS land. That we should do also. Let's be tough. Let's declare war and get the job done. This is a wartime situation, but we're not acting like warriors.
All right, I got to go at this point, but we'll leave it there where you guys are agreeing. A rare moment here in the life of
Well, we may talk ourselves out of a job here by agreeing.
No, trust me, we'll have you back. Don't worry. We'll find other contentious issues. That's pretty easy to do. See you later. Yep, exactly.
Next time we'll have to talk about Larry's changed stance